All right, hey everybody, so we're back out here in the field today. It's a beautiful day, it's Friday, we're rocking and rolling. As you can see in the background, we got the crew working their butts off, and today we're planting some bulbs. So as you can see here, we got all these cages opened up, they're marked out. We come through before the crew shows up in the morning, get all these cages opened up. Just a little less hand labor for them, which is always nice. And we'll cruise down here in just a minute and we'll show you guys what the actual process of planting a bulb in the ground to produce seed looks like. All right, so here we have some of the bulbs that we actually just cut yesterday. And as you can see, if you get a good shot from this side, you can see it's already starting to shoot up a sprout from the top. So like I mentioned earlier, these things are really vigorous, especially once you induce that injury to the bulb. It just almost instantaneously wants to start growing. All right, so these are the cages that the crew's working on today. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to try to get this whole line done today, but in this cage in particular right now, the crew is working on planting female bulbs, and these are actually what we'll harvest for seed, for stock seed, for our future productions. And according to my sheets here, this cage we'll have somewhere around 30,000 bulbs planted in it of just female. So that our goal each year is to produce roughly around a gram of seed per bulb planted. So 30,000 grams essentially should produce us about 30 kilos worth of seed for future productions. When you start doing all the math, and especially once you start getting into the hybrid stuff, kilo of seed will sell probably for around $500 or $600. So you start doing the math on all that, and we're dealing with a pretty heavy sum of money here. So these ladies are excellent at what they do. As you can see, they place these bulbs just perfect, all facing up, oriented up, and that just allows those shoots to get started out of the ground as quick as possible and get that photosynthesis in action as quick as we can. So I just want to show you guys, this whole process from start to finish is just super labor intensive. As you can see, we do use a tractor to mechanically open these rows up, but after they're planted, pretty much our only option is to come in and hand cover them with hose and rakes. And so it takes a literal army each year to get all this done. As you can see here in this cage, we've already planted the female. It's all covered up. Now we're working on the male. So I try to shoot for about a 1-to-4 ratio of male to female in the cages. That seems to be kind of a sweet spot, especially if you have good pollinators. It works out really well. And in some of the cages like this one, I actually ended up having enough room to shoot for a 1-to-2 ratio. So another thing we do just to keep everything straight and not have any mixes in the male and female, we always make sure to plant the females first, follow that up with the males. So in this cage over here, we're planting females, we have the males open, and then the cage right here we just talked about, like I said, we've already planted the females, we're jumping into the males now. We'll kind of maintain that pattern all the way down today, and it just keeps everything really efficient, keeps all the bookkeeping straight, and makes everyone's lives a little easier at the end of the day. All right, so our total footprint today that we're trying to plant is going to be roughly about 1 acre to 1.5 acres. So basically this whole week we've worked on cutting and planting this whole row here. What we'll do, we have 2 more rows, so we're looking at 2 to 2.5 more weeks of work. Probably have it wrapped up that first week of April. All said and done, you can see behind me the overwinter stuff and the new stuff will probably be sitting right around 8 to 9 acres of total production, and that's going to encompass somewhere around 400 different parent lines of onions. So probably in 2 to 3 weeks here, by the time we get done planting the last row, these first rows will actually be able to see some fresh growth coming out of the top of those bulbs. Then after that, we probably have about a 3 to 4 week window of kind of just monitoring, keeping the weeds under control, making sure the thrips stay in check. And at that point, we'll come back in and show you guys kind of what the next step of this production is. And that is one of the most labor intensive processes, even more labor intensive than this, and that is the construction of the actual cages. So each of these blocks will actually have its own cage constructed over the top of it, and that is an amazing process to watch these guys work at. They're incredible at what they do. And if it wasn't for them, quite honestly, we wouldn't be able to do what we do here at Crookham. So really, they're the heroes of this show, and when we come back, we'll show you what all that looks like.